They never tell you this. The moment someone truly dominates a room, it isn't with charm, it isn't with words, it's silent, almost invisible. You feel it before you see it. A pause, a glance, a subtle shift in the air, and suddenly, you're following without thinking. Most people chase respect. They beg for approval. They explain themselves endlessly, hoping to be liked. But the ones who command it, they don't explain. They don't justify. They let the world chase their rules. Here's the secret no one admits. Strength isn't loud. Fear isn't obvious. Influence isn't earned by being nice. And by the time you notice, it's already too late. You're inside someone else's control. What they're hiding, the rule that decides who dominates and who obeys, will change the way you see every interaction from now on.
They call it power, but what you think you know about it is mostly wrong. Humans crave certainty. We want rules, patterns, comfort. That's why most people obey. They look for signals, for permission, for guidance. And here's the kicker. You don't have to be stronger than them. You just need to understand the invisible strings they're already tied to. Every glance, every hesitation, every choice has a ripple. People respond to what they can't fully see. They react to the unseen. That's the foundation. Control isn't about force, it's about perception. Subtle cues, calculated pauses, deliberate silence. You feel it before you recognize it. That's why a dominant presence can silence a room without raising a voice. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose confidence makes others stumble? Not because they were louder, not because they were better, but because they were predictable in their unpredictability. They know what to reveal, what to hold back, and when to strike. It's invisible power, and it terrifies those who chase external validation. Psychology isn't just about understanding behavior, it's about predicting it. Most people are walking patterns. Their fears, habits, and desires aren't hidden. They broadcast them subconsciously. A skilled observer can read it all. The hesitation in their tone, the tiny twitch of their fingers, the way they shift weight in a conversation. These are cracks, weaknesses, doorways to influence. And here's the thing they don't teach you in school. This isn't about manipulation in a cheap sense. It's about mastery. Mastery over yourself first, and then over the environment you step into. People will follow the unspoken rules you set, even if they don't realize they're following at all. What most fail to see is this: domination isn't earned through fear, charm, or authority alone. It's earned through invisible mastery, the kind that leaves others guessing, unsettled, questioning their own reactions. The kind that makes respect and fear arrive without a single demand. If you ignore this, you stay a step behind. Always reacting, always guessing, always vulnerable. But if you learn it, the world bends, silently, almost imperceptibly. And you become the one they can't ignore.
Most people think respect comes from being kind, politeness, explaining yourself, playing by the rules. It doesn't. Have you noticed how the nicest person in the room rarely sets the tone, rarely changes the direction of a conversation? They get listened to, sometimes, but they don't command. They don't make others hesitate before speaking. Here's a harder truth. People fear power disguised as uncertainty more than power displayed loudly. They react to what they don't understand, to what makes them question their own assumptions. And that's where real influence hides. Not in smiles, not in charm, in subtle control over perception. Think about the last time someone made you second-guess yourself without even trying. How did it feel? A chill? Unease? Maybe irritation? That's the invisible rule at work, the one almost everyone misses. We've been taught to admire the loud, the visible, the obvious, the hero in every story, the alpha at the front. But dominance doesn't work that way. It's silent. It's strategic. It thrives in the shadows of attention. It's what they don't show you that makes them powerful. You probably also think influence is a game of charisma, that people follow those who dazzle, entertain, or impress. Wrong. Influence is earned when people feel the consequences of not following, when hesitation becomes risk,
when ignoring someone feels like losing before the battle even starts. And here's what most will never admit. The world is full of people trying to win by being seen. Few understand the art of being felt, quietly, subtly, undeniably. That's why the silent observer always knows more. The one who doesn't rush, doesn't explain, doesn't perform. They watch, they calculate, they wait. They see patterns everyone else misses. They notice what most overlook. And when the moment comes, their move is inevitable. So ask yourself, are you chasing respect, approval, or understanding? Or are you starting to notice the hidden rules that actually decide who dominates and who obeys? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and nothing in your interactions will ever feel the same again.
Notice what's happening here. Most people never see it. They follow, react, guess, never realize who's actually in control. You, on the other hand, are starting to see the hidden rules, the patterns everyone else misses. That awareness alone already puts you ahead. Keep paying attention, keep noticing, and if this insight hits you the way it should, hit that like button quietly. Let the world know you're seeing what others don't.
Power isn't handed out, it's taken. Quietly, strategically. Look around. Some people make others obey without a single demand. You've seen it, you feel it, but most can't explain why. It's not about who shouts the loudest, it's about who controls the space between words. That invisible tension, that subtle presence that makes others hesitate before acting. Imagine a meeting. Everyone's talking, arguing, pushing agendas. One person says almost nothing, just a pause, a glance, a tilt of the head. Suddenly, conversations shift, decisions start aligning, opinions bend, not because they commanded it, but because they implied consequences without saying a word. That's dominance, silent, calculated, unstoppable. Then there's manipulation hidden in plain sight. Notice how some people get others to do what they want without appearing to try. They frame choices so subtly that by the time you realize it, you're already following. They plant tiny seeds of doubt, let them grow, and harvest compliance. Almost nobody notices, almost nobody resists. Even social interactions, friendships, relationships, the same rules apply. People follow cues they aren't even conscious of. Your tone, your posture, your timing, they all communicate authority. A slight hesitation, a confident pause, a single unbroken gaze, these are triggers. Triggers that make others feel uncertainty, and uncertainty is where control lives. Power also hides in restraint. The person who reacts last, who waits, who doesn't explain themselves, they are dangerous because their moves carry weight. Every word, every action becomes meaningful. Others overreact, misstep, reveal weakness, and in that microsecond, dominance is seized. Here's the brutal truth most won't admit. Ignoring these dynamics puts you at a constant disadvantage. You're blind to invisible influence. You're vulnerable to subtle manipulation. And yet those who master this, they move through life untouchable. Every room, every conversation, every decision, they're already controlling it, silently, effortlessly. The question is simple. Are you just reacting, or are you beginning to notice the strings others pull and learning to pull them yourself? Because this isn't theory, this is life, and mastery starts with awareness.
Authority isn't what you see, it's what you feel. Think about the last time someone made you doubt yourself without even trying. They didn't shout, they didn't threaten. They simply existed in a way that made your decisions feel smaller. That's the hidden mechanism of influence. Perception is everything. Intelligence alone doesn't grant power. Knowledge alone doesn't secure dominance. It's about how others perceive your capability, your confidence, and most importantly, your predictability in unpredictability. People fear what they can't fully predict. They follow those who make them second-guess their own judgment. Even subtle behaviors matter. How you pause before speaking, how you react or don't react to provocations, how your gaze lingers just long enough to create tension. These micro-actions shape perception faster than any argument, evidence, or charm. And the best part? Most people are blind to it. Here's another truth they won't tell you. The world responds to calculated risk. The person who dares to break a small social rule,
who quietly bends expectations, suddenly becomes more dominant. Why? Because unpredictability triggers attention, and attention triggers influence. People instinctively calibrate their behavior to avoid missteps around them. It's also why subtlety beats force. A sharp word delivered at the right moment carries more impact than hours of persuasion. A single well-placed silence outweighs 1,000 explanations. Every interaction is a test. Every reaction is data. The observant, those who notice micro-patterns, gain control without overt conflict. And here's the danger for the unaware. Every reaction you give is a clue. Every hesitation, every over-explained point, every visible anxiety is information. Someone who sees these patterns doesn't just notice, they use them. And if you ignore this, you're just walking data for someone else's control. Mastery isn't just about influence, it's about creating a perception of inevitability. The world bends toward those who understand it, who exploit patterns without announcing it, who make others question themselves while remaining silent, unshakable, untouchable. At this level, power is invisible, yet everywhere. People follow it instinctively, and the ones who recognize it, they move freely in a world that most will spend their lives reacting to.
Power has a shadow, and most people never see it until it's too late. Every influence, every control tactic carries risk. Subtle dominance can protect or trap. People who master it can bend others quietly, almost invisibly. But if you ignore it, you become prey. Every hesitation, every insecurity, every predictable habit is ammunition for someone who knows the rules you don't. Think about it. The same patterns that allow mastery can be weaponized. A colleague who notices your subtle fear can exploit it. A friend who observes your habits can manipulate decisions you didn't even know you were making. Even relationships aren't immune. Every micro-expression, every tiny pause, every unnoticed reaction becomes leverage. Deception is everywhere. People lie not only to cover weakness, but to control perception. And perception drives reality. If someone convinces you they are untouchable, you hesitate, you second guess, you lose ground before a single command is given. The danger isn't just others, it's also within. The deeper you understand these dynamics, the easier it is to misuse them. The thrill of silent control can tempt even the best intentioned. That's why most who study power fail. They see patterns but ignore ethics. And when that happens, the consequences are subtle, corrosive, almost invisible, until they destroy trust, relationships, influence. Here's the cold truth. People respond instinctively to power, whether it's fair or manipulative. If you fail to notice the hidden rules, someone else will exploit them. You will bend without realizing it. You will obey without choice. And the world will keep moving while you wonder what went wrong. The most dangerous people aren't the loudest. They're the silent ones who see everything, calculate everything, and act only when it guarantees control. Miss their cues, underestimate their awareness, or dismiss the signs, and you're already losing. Understanding the shadow side isn't optional, it's survival. Master the invisible forces, or you will be mastered by them. Because domination doesn't wait for permission, it's claimed quietly, deliberately, and mercilessly.
By now, you see it. The invisible rules, the silent currents that decide who dominates and who obeys. Most people go through life blind, reacting to forces they don't understand. You've glimpsed the machinery behind influence, perception, and control. That knowledge alone separates you from them. Here's the final truth. Power isn't loud. It isn't force. It isn't charm. It's subtle, invisible, relentless. And those who master it don't ask for respect. They claim it without a word. Every interaction, every glance, every pause is a choice, and every choice carries weight. Miss it, and someone else will shape your reality. Notice it, and you begin to shape theirs. You can ignore it and remain a follower, or you can step into it, quietly, deliberately, ruthlessly. If this resonates, if you're starting to see what others miss, keep watching, keep noticing. And if you want to stay ahead, subscribe. Because understanding the hidden rules is one thing, but mastering them, that's how you stop being controlled and start controlling. Remember this, the world bends silently for those who understand it. Be the one it bends for.